Now to some exclusive details about a dig that hopes to solve South Australia's most enduring mystery. A new search for the Beaumont children begins tomorrow, and for the first time, 7 News can reveal the extraordinary discovery that lured investigators back.
The case of the missing Beaumont children is a tragic and complex mystery.
Final search for the remains of the missing Beaumont children has begun at a former factory site in North Plympton. While no new clues have yet been unearthed, a new bombshell link between the family and a prime suspect has been revealed.
That has haunted Australia for decades.
It is a cold case mystery that has captivated the nation, and almost 60 years on, so many people are still asking what happened to the Beaumont children.
The Beaumont children, Jane, 9, Arnna, 7, and Grant Beaumont-4, vanished without a trace from Glenelg Beach, South Australia, on January 26, 1966. To write a detailed and authentic account of this case, spanning 25,000 characters, I'll incorporate the factual events, the investigation, the theories, and the impact on the community and the family. The tragic disappearance. On the Sunday morning of January 26, 1966, 3 siblings, Jane, Arnna, and Grant Beaumont, set off to spend the day at Glenelg Beach, a popular tourist destination near Adelaide. The children were excited, as it was a public holiday. Their mother, Nancy Beaumont, had allowed them to go to the beach with the condition that they would return home by lunchtime. The Beaumonts were a typical suburban family, and there was no reason to suspect anything unusual that day. But what began as an ordinary outing would end in one of Australia's most famous child disappearance cases. By afternoon, when the children hadn't returned, their parents began to worry. By the evening, the search had already begun, but the children were nowhere to be found. The search begins. The search for the Beaumont children quickly became a major operation. Hundreds of people, including police, volunteers, and even members of the community, scoured the beach and surrounding areas. Authorities believed that the children might have become lost or had gotten into trouble. However, there were no clues or sightings, and the search intensified as time passed. The children's disappearance was utterly baffling. There were no signs of a struggle or any indication of what could have happened. Eyewitness accounts were conflicting, and there were no leads. Over time, the case would become one of the longest unresolved mysteries in Australian history. Eyewitness reports and early investigations. As part of the investigation, the police interviewed various witnesses who had been in the area that day. Some claimed to have seen the children walking along the beach with a man, described as being in his late 30s or early 40s, with dark hair. Others reported seeing the children near the jetty or playing by themselves. However, these reports were inconsistent, and none of them provided concrete evidence as to what had happened to the Beaumont children. Several theories emerged during the investigation. One theory was that the children had been abducted by someone they knew or had encountered earlier that day. Another theory suggested they had fallen into the water and drowned, though no bodies were found. The most chilling theory was that the children had been taken by a stranger with malicious intent. Theories and speculations. As the investigation stalled, several theories emerged, most of which revolved around abduction. Over the years, numerous suspects were suggested, but no one was ever charged in connection with the disappearance. Some people believed that the children might have been abducted by a pedophile ring operating in the area, while others speculated that the children may have been targeted by someone who had been watching them for some time. The idea of a serial child abductor also gained traction, especially after other children went missing under similar circumstances. Several notorious figures, including known child molesters, were linked to the case over the years, but no hard evidence was found to connect them to the Beaumont children's disappearance. Theories about the man seen with the children. One of the most widely discussed theories involved the man who was reportedly seen with the children on the day they disappeared. The man was described as having dark hair and being in his mid-30s. Some witnesses suggested that the man might have been a friend or acquaintance of the children, while others believed he could have been a stranger. Over the years, numerous theories have been put forward about the identity of this man. Some suggest that he was a predator who lured the children away from the beach with promises of food or treats. Others believe he may have been an innocent bystander or even a witness to the crime. However, no one has ever been definitively identified as the man seen with the children, and the theory remains one of the most chilling aspects of the case. Impact on the Beaumont family. The disappearance of the Beaumont children devastated their family, particularly their mother, Nancy. The loss of her children was a profound trauma that she struggled with for the rest of her life. She became an advocate for missing children and worked tirelessly to raise awareness about child safety. Nancy's tireless efforts, along with those of other family members, ensured that the Beaumont children's case was not forgotten, despite the lack of progress in the investigation. Nancy passed away in 2019, but her dedication to finding out what happened to her children remained unwavering. Throughout her life, she never gave up hope that her children would be found. In interviews, she described the heartbreak of not knowing their fate and the relentless feeling of not being able to close the chapter on their disappearance. Ongoing investigations and new leads. Over the years, the Beaumont children's case has remained open, with periodic investigations attempting to uncover new leads. In recent years, advancements in forensic technology and DNA analysis have led to renewed efforts to solve the case. One of the significant developments occurred in 2018 when a new suspect was identified. The person of interest, a former police officer, was linked to the case after a long investigation into his background. However, despite the promising leads, no conclusive evidence has yet been found that ties the suspect to the disappearance. Additionally, police have worked with amateur sleuths and members of the public who have come forward with their own theories and insights into the case. While some have suggested that the Beaumont children may have been buried in a remote location, others believe that they may have been transported out of Australia or sold into a trafficking ring. Unfortunately, none of these leads have produced the evidence needed to solve the case. The Beaumont legacy. The mystery of the Beaumont children continues to haunt Australia. It has become a symbol of the fear and grief experienced by parents when their children go missing. The case has led to significant changes in laws regarding missing persons and child protection, and it has helped raise awareness about the importance of keeping children safe in public spaces. The Beaumont children's case also prompted a series of laws and changes in policy, including mandatory police checks and the formation of dedicated missing persons units. Despite the progress in these areas, the unresolved nature of the case still casts a shadow over the Australian public. A case that haunts a nation. The disappearance of the Beaumont children is one of Australia's most tragic and enduring mysteries. Over 50 years after they vanished, their case remains unsolved, with the children's fate still unknown. Despite numerous theories, suspects, and investigations, no one has been able to bring closure to the Beaumont family or the Australian public. The case continues to captivate the imaginations of those who follow it, and it serves as a reminder of the enduring pain of unsolved crimes. In the absence of answers, the question of what happened to the Beaumont children remains one of the most poignant and unsettling mysteries in Australia's criminal history. This story is a painful reminder that some mysteries, no matter how deeply we search, remain unresolved. The Beaumont children's case is a lasting tragedy that, for now, remains an open wound in the fabric of Australian society. The children's memory lives on in the hearts of those who continue to seek justice, even though the truth remains elusive. The Beaumont children's disappearance is a mystery that still haunts Australia, leaving more questions than answers. Are you ready to uncover the truth behind one of the most chilling cases? Don't let this haunting story slip away. Hit subscribe and stay tuned for our next video, the story of the Central Park 5. Trust us, you won't want to miss it. Join our journey and become part of a growing community dedicated to unraveling the world's most gripping stories. Subscribe now